Hello, Houston. This is Elizabeth Liz Miranda, your bilingual realtor with Miranda Properties, and welcome to our show, Casa y Vida Houston on CBBA Radio. So the first thing we want to do with our show, as usual, is to tell you about our sponsors. Of course, this show wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. So our first sponsor is Susie Condelopoulos. She is a loan officer with Gateway Mortgage, and you can reach her at 281-250-2696. And of course, Susie is bilingual. If you are looking to, if you want to buy a home, you want to get a refinance your home, call Susie. She can help you. And she can help you by phone, so it doesn't matter where you live. She's able to help you. Our next sponsor is Texas Low Cost Insurance Agency. Their number is 281-941-2863. They are located in Deer Park, Texas. But of course, same thing. They can help you the entire city of Houston, actually the whole state of Texas. It doesn't matter. You can call. And so if you're looking for auto insurance, homeowners insurance, or commercial insurance, or flood insurance, by the way, guys, you need to call for that flood insurance. You know that hurricane season is coming up, so make sure that you call. They can take care of you with that for that flood insurance. Okay, and we are going to go ahead and move on with our show. First of all, I have my co-host, Olivia Garcia. And then I want to introduce you. Hi, Olivia. I want to introduce you to our guest today. Our guest today is Luisa Deason. Welcome, Luisa.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation, and I look forward to today.
You're very welcome. Well, it's first time that we meet today, and I'm so glad to learn more about you. So the first thing I absolutely would like for you to do is just tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? Where you're from?
Okay.
What do you do, etc.
So I've been living here for about 38 years. I was actually born and raised in Mexico City, so I'm bilingual. I have my own business. It's called Deason's Credit Consulting Services, and what we do is we specialize in very, very aggressive credit restoration. I have a team of people that help me do the magic that I do every day, and of course, I do have an identical twin, so I'm not new to radio. I come from television. I worked for the Immigration Service as a spokesperson for many, many years, so I've had a long trajectory of being exposed to media and things like that. So I have a pretty interesting background.
Well, that's very interesting. I didn't know that. I just found out a little bit right before we started the show that she's the expert on this, as opposed to me. So that's very exciting to have someone that's that's comfortable with this media. Awesome. Well, tell us about your company. And, it's credit repair. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that what you do?
So what we do is a little bit different, Liz, than credit repair. Credit restoration is what we focus on. And it's just a whole different level of aggressiveness in disputing all negative items and erroneous items on people's credit reports. So one of the first things that we do is when we encounter a customer, we want to make sure that they understand that we have a very aggressive process. We don't just do a hard pull on one credit report. We do it on all three simultaneously. Therefore, it gives us anything and everything that needs to be disputed on those credit reports. The advantage to the customer is that we don't bind them into a contract. So they pay monthly. They decide how long they need our services. But the other components that are very important with what we do is we protect their identity. That's very, very important. None of our customers were affected by the Equifax breach. We take great pride in that. We've been around for 17 years. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and so we do a lot of things about providing our customers with an educational piece that I think is a different element than just fixing the problem. We're going to teach them while we're going through the process with them what they need to do to maintain those scores up.
Okay. So tell me, of course, our show is primarily focused on real estate, on people that are looking to buy a home.
Yes.
So how exactly does your service help someone who's looking to buy a home?
Absolutely, and you guys are the ones that are encountering people that are credit challenged. So oftentimes what happens is realtors or loan officers approach me and they'll say, I have several people in my database that obviously don't have the scores that are required to meet the loan requirements. So what we do is I like to sit down in person with every individual that they refer to me. I like to develop that working relationship. I like to develop that rapport and that trust. I know that with the Hispanic community, a lot of them like to sit down face to face. That is how I like to do my business. And what happens is when they come to us, we explain the process to them. And then what we do is we are very clear in what is expected to them, what is expected of them. And we put them through a program that's very aggressive but very, very educational. So in our view, it's not that I'm going to tell you how to fix the problem and just give you the fish. I'm going to actually show you how to fish, because then the probability of you never falling back in that trap is much, much greater than if we didn't provide you with that education element.
So most of your consultations are held in person?
I like to meet every one of my customers in person, yes.
Okay. Now, do they need to pull their credit before they come and meet with you?
No, it's not necessary. We do a hard pull anyway on all 3 credit bureaus, and what we're looking for is any and all negative items and erroneous things that need to be disputed completely off, and then, of course, subsequently deleted. So we have a tremendous amount of success. Most of our clients are not with us more than 6 months. And we usually have our customers see significant increases to their scores within 45 to 95 days.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Now, let me ask you this. I'm sure people are wondering a few things. I know one of the questions that I would ask if it was me, if I was in the situation that I needed credit restoration, I would ask, do I need to pay off all my debt? Is that what's going to happen?
Well, there's certain debt that you can't absolutely get out of regardless of what happens. You know, student loans, child support, things of that nature. But it's also important to note that oftentimes when there is a company that you've had a service provided from, or that you've purchased something and you can't pay that, well, after a certain amount of time, they send that to collections. Now, there's certain debt that may be absolved, but what we recommend is that they pay or find a way to find the terms to pay that debt off. The debt is owed, but not always is there a lot of reasons to pay specific debt. Now, we don't go in and say, don't pay your bills, but there are certain parameters in which we will discuss certain things that they shouldn't do along the way.
Okay, but it's not mandatory. I guess, one of the things that comes to mind is that there's also what's called like credit consolidation, I believe, or debt consolidation. This is different. Is that it?
It's very different, and we're not in the consolidation business. We're in the credit restoration business. So one of the things that if a customer comes to me and they say, well, what do you recommend? We're thinking about consolidating our debt, and we're thinking about going ahead and just taking that loss. And my recommendation to them is, before you do any of that, just know sometimes when you consolidate debt and you pay that money down, it may look like a bankruptcy. And that's the last thing you want to go through or have it look like or appear on your credit reports when you're in the process of purchasing a house. The other thing is, sometimes what they'll do is that they'll force you to close those credit lines down. Now, let's just learn something here. When I sit down with the customer and I teach them what the score calculation is on their credit report, 30% is what you've paid and 35% is how you've paid it. So if somebody's telling you to close down a credit card or something you've had and established for a very long period of time, our recommendation is don't close anything. Don't close any credit cards down, because it can really affect 65% of your score calculation. It can plummet your score overnight.
So tell me again, what is it, I guess, what are the different factors that are taken into consideration that make up your score?
Okay, so a lot of the factors are 30% is how long you've had established credit, what you've done, credit cards, things that you've had to finance, what you've been paying on. So what you're looking for are trade lines that have been reporting payments every month. So one of the things we'll tell people is, if you have established credit by way of a Visa or whatever other credit cards you have, if you're not in a situation where you're going to be in a problem because you have to consolidate debt, then we're talking about the flip side of that coin. Someone not knowing how to use them correctly. So what we tell you is, let's give you an example. If you have a credit card that gives you a $10,000 credit line, obviously what we don't want you to do is max that amount every month. The other is, it's recommended that you don't exceed 30% of the allotted credit line on that particular credit card, so that you're not becoming a high risk every time you pay that card. Those are simple tips that people can try and follow.
Okay. Any other tips that you can think of that might help someone? Maybe say there's someone out there that maybe their credit score is 10 points away from where it should be for them to qualify for a home. Is there anything that you can recommend
One of the things that we do is make those types of recommendations, and our attorneys are very well versed in that as well. One of the things is if you're that close to the point structure, maybe you don't need me necessarily. We usually encounter people that are very far from that point structure, and what happens is that they have a lot of negative items. They really do need to be disputed and deleted. But sometimes maybe paying off a couple of credit cards and then just registering those payments is going to make a difference in a shorter period of time. I always like to sit down and have a free consultation with people. I don't want to take your money if it's not necessary, although we do offer a program that has no contract. It's usually only $89 a month.
Okay, awesome. So you do offer free consultations?
I do. I don't believe in charging for the consultation. If you don't need my services, why would I charge you?
So if someone doesn't need your service, I mean, you're going to tell them. That has happened.
I'm going to tell them, and it happens to me on occasion.
Okay. What about someone who has maybe decent credit? I guess what I would call decent credit. They're approvable. They can get approved for a home loan, but they want a higher score. Do you work with them also?
Yes. So here's a prime example of some of those examples. So I get customers that will tell me, well, my loan officer told me that all I need is a 620 or a 640, or the parameters around those numbers to get that loan. And what I want to try and educate them on and remind them of is those are still very low scores. Let's work towards getting those scores up beyond 720, 750, maybe 800. And maybe it's a short-term sacrifice, but the advantage to that is that you're going to get much, much better financing. So if you must qualify at that 620 or that 640, let's keep working a couple of months. It can make the difference between you coming back and refinancing that 30-year loan down to a 15 or doing something at a much better interest rate.
Well, sounds good. So tell me some about maybe some of the mistakes that people make as far as their credit, or actually when they're trying to repair their own credit. But you know what? Let's hold that thought. Let's go ahead and take a break right now. So I think we need to take a break. So we're going to take a break, and we will be right back with Louisa Deason. Very, very good discussion here. See you in a minute. All right, well, welcome back. We are with Louisa Deason with Deason Credit Services, something along those lines, right? I got to repeat the name, please.
Deason's Credit Consulting Services.
All right, awesome. And so we were talking about credit restoration, of course, and what I was asking you was to tell us about some of the mistakes that people make, because I know sometimes people will try to repair their own credit. Nowadays people go online, they Google stuff, and they think that they know how to do things. So what mistakes have you seen people do when they try to repair their own credit?
Well, oftentimes what happens is they either don't know how the process works. So if somebody comes to me and says, I'm only 10 or 20 points away, I don't really want to engage in your program, we don't have a lot of negative items, you know what, I'll send them information about what the law under the Fair Credit Reporting Act they're allowed to do and not to do. The other thing is, a lot of times the biggest mistake is if somebody just says, well, I'm not going to enroll. You can't ignore the problem. It doesn't fix itself, and it certainly doesn't go away. It has to be disputed. It must be deleted.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that I find, certainly having, talked to so many people, having been in the industry since the beginning of 2006, that I was doing loans first. I was doing mortgage loans, and I was doing then real estate. I have found so many people, of course, that don't qualify to buy a home because they have bad credit.
Exactly.
And amazingly enough, they don't do anything about it. I think they freeze, they get nervous, they don't know what to do, and they just simply sit there and they just don't do anything. And so they actually spend, they never buy a home, and in the long run, of course, we know that they're losing money.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
that correct?
Absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally. We do free seminars all the time, and one of the things that I teach is the importance of establishing credit if you don't have it. The problem lies in that if you don't have established credit in this country, it's going to affect everything you do. Bad credit will make you pay higher premiums on your medical, your home, your auto, everything. It affects everything you do. So if you don't do something to fix that problem, you're going to be paying higher rates on everything. And what I tell in my seminars is, so let's say the difference is someone with good credit as opposed to bad credit. The person with bad credit can pay anywhere from $200,000 to over $1 million in their lifetime with everything that they must finance, and that's the difference. That's a lot of money. So really, it's a short-term sacrifice to get that credit up where it needs to be.
Yeah, and not only that, but certainly, just simply being able to get your credit where it's supposed to be is going to help you to be able to get into a home, which again, in the long run, is an investment in your home, in your future, in your children's future, just in generations to come. So, absolutely, I cannot stress it enough. If anyone is out there that um, has not been able to buy a home because of your credit, please send us a message and we'll be happy to put you in contact with Luisa. One of the other things that I wanted to ask, Luisa, I had a note here, is to ask you about renters. What can you tell us for renters, someone who's renting?
Oh gosh, so I love this program. It's a new program for us. I'm so excited. I love talking about it. So before, people that rented had no way of reporting those payments onto the credit reports. And so the advantage is that we have implemented something called Credit My Rent. It's a program for renters. If you've been renting and you want to establish another line of credit because you're short a line of credit, this is the perfect way to do it. You can go back and pick terms whether to go back retroactively 1 or 2 years and report that rent that you've paid on time back that far, and it is reported on TransUnion. So it does help your scores go up. And this is usually for people not with bad credit, but not enough established credit. So it's a fabulous program.
Okay. So would that help someone that maybe doesn't have credit at all?
Yes, it does help them. We also recommend that they do certain things like maybe go out and try to get a small credit card and start using that. But the advantage to the Credit My Rent is that it's immediate. It's retroactive. You can go back 1 or 2 years, and it's a fantastic program.
Now, does this do there have to be certain apartment complexes that participate in this, or how does that work?
Really, it's down to whether the landlord is willing to play ball, whether the management company is willing to play ball. If you can get a receipt from somebody who's willing to report that, I mean, if you were living and renting a room from somebody, I guess it could work out. But, there's certain parameters that there's specific information that we like to ask the landlord or the management company to help us out with.
Okay. Now, anything else that you find might be useful? Maybe some myths. What do you think are maybe some of the myths that, as far as credit?
So a lot of people tend to tell me, well, I've had a bankruptcy or I've had a repossession, and they tell me that it's going to take 10 years to get off my credit reports. And although that's kind of what everybody's been known and grown up knowing, the fact of the matter is that we have dozens of customers who have had bankruptcies and foreclosures, and we've been able to delete those items off their credit reports. It doesn't absolve the debt. It's not a discharged bankruptcy. But the fact is that if we're able to delete it from all 3 credit reports, that's pretty phenomenal.
So you're able to delete them, not just count, but just dispute them, but actually delete them.
Delete them.
So that's bankruptcies can be deleted.
Bankruptcies, tax liens, foreclosures, repossessions. We're experts at all of that.
Wow. Now, does it have to be like from so many years back, or?
That's what a lot of people seem to think. They're stuck on that 10 or 7 years, and it's, it just depends on the level of aggressiveness. And our attorneys are the best at what they do, and they're very, very aggressive, and we've had a tremendous amount of success.
Wow, that's good to know, because even I thought that. It just goes to show that everybody, is an expert in their own field, right?
That's
well,
right.
Here is Luisa's information. There's her phone number, 832-244-2488, and I'm sure that they can find you on Facebook also.
They can. I do have a Facebook presence. It's under construction right now. We're making a couple of revisions, but my personal page is Luisa Deason, and they can just access some of the information. I do a lot of sharing of information on that page, and we'll get them information no matter how or what they need. We'll get their questions answered.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. Obviously, very, very knowledgeable. I'm sure you will be in good hands. So thank you so much, Luisa, for being on our segment. And, of course, you're going to stay on for our Spanish segment.
Yes.
So ya saben, a la 1:30 estaremos con ustedes en español. Y Luisa estará hablando con nosotros en español también. So, but next we want to move on to Olivia, to our realtor Olivia, so she can tell us a little bit about some of our homes that we're trying to sell right now and that, we have available for you.
Yes, so actually several weeks ago, Liz and I had gone to see these newly constructed houses off of Highway 90 and Beltway 8, and there's actually 3 newly constructed houses that are ready to move in. So if you're interested in looking into a newly constructed house, because you don't have to spend money on having to repair an old house and things like that, just please contact me at 346-310-9019. This is actually one of the model homes, and it's really beautiful from the inside. It has granite countertops, beautiful floors, and also amazing shelves. So please contact me as soon as you can if you're looking to move in to a new house.
Absolutely, and of course, there's another. That's one of the other pictures of one of the other homes that we
Yes.
saw that's already move-in ready. So if you guys are looking for a brand new home, of course, if you want to have a home built, also that would also be an
Yes.
option, correct?
Yes, you can also build it from the ground up. You can choose whatever how you want the kitchen, how you want your master bedroom, everything. So
Absolutely.
it has amazing perks.
Yes, and of course, there are some. The builder is also providing certain extra certain concessions that they're providing. So they also can provide you with the financing or refer you to someone who can do the financing. So give us a call. You can contact Olivia or you can contact myself. And if you are looking to buy a home, let's see if we can put our information up there. My business card. There is my information. My cell phone number is 832-878-1255. You can send me you can leave me a voicemail, send me a text. You can also, of course, find me on Facebook, send me an email. However it is that you want to contact me, we are here to help you. If you're looking to buy a home or you're looking to sell a home, of course, we're also here to help you. And definitely, if you have any questions that we can help you, we can answer for you that pertain to real estate, send us a message. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot. We are giving away a $10 gift certificate to Starbucks for anyone that has shared our program. And so I'm sure you've already been seeing the posts that we've been putting here on Facebook below. And so make sure that, of course, if you're watching this live, that you do share our link. And and we're going to have a drawing. The drawing will be live on our Casa and Vida Houston group page before 5 o'clock today. We're going to do the same thing for our Spanish show. So make sure if you haven't shared our link, you still have time to do it right now. All right. So that concludes our show for today in English. Remember, we're with you every Thursday at 1 p.m. in English. And next, we're having our Spanish show. See you next Thursday. And thank you again, ladies.
Thank
Thank you.
you.